Welcome to Atlanta. Price is Officer 5000, Jeremiah, the camp leader of Atlanta. Passover 2025, starting April the 9th, we got the lamb slaughter. April the 10th, we got General Muhammad's flag. April the 11th, we got the black party that's gonna have the Hebrew graduation. April the 12th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the 56th annual Passover, the only Passover under Commander Junior Hanna.
Our great and holy King has honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing the end of it, man. It is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King YAHANNA, we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved.
April the 13th, we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread. SHALAM.
Hey, Shalom, you ever stop? What's going on, Breeze?
Hey, what's going on? I don't want.
Everything toward.
What's wrong?
But that Passover demon is something else, huh?
How you say that?
You'll see. They gonna knock on right there.
Oh shit.
Hey, Shalom, stop.
Hey, Shalom, you
Stop.
stop.
What's going on? I don't want.
Y'all need to pay y'all Passover fee?
Nah, I pay mine in a couple weeks. Probably about 2-3 weeks.
I paid half for it, man.
Half for it.
Con.
2-3 weeks, huh?
Ouch!
Knowledge. I know you ain't trying to teach class when you ain't pay your Passover fee.
I can't teach class out of one?
That's on you. Lord be with y'all. Lord be with you.
Let's get it.
Ooh-wee.
Lil Joe don't do nothing.
Alright. You know what? I'm tired of betting these dollars. Nigga, pay back 10.
Nigga back.
Nigga back.
Nigga back.
Nigga back 20.
Nigga back.
Oh, yeah, watch. It's gonna hit. Oh.
I know y'all niggas ain't in there shooting dice. Y'all ain't pay y'all Passover fee.
Con, sir.
Lord be with y'all.
Con.
That's on you. Lord be with you.
Get your money up. Ooh-wee. I got them new J's for the all-black party. Hey, come check them out. Watch it. Look. Oh, shit.
I know you ain't about to bring new J's and you ain't pay your Passover fee.
Con, sir.
That's on you, Op. Lord be with you.
Con.
Lord be with you.
Damn. Oh, man. Man, this Passover demon been crazy this year, man.
Come, sir.
Bruh, Osanaka one been everywhere.
Man, the nigga was in my house.
Wow. Hey, let's just go on and pay this Passover fee right now.
Come,
I'm about to pay mine now.
Yeah, me too.
I know y'all ain't about to pay the Passover fee and y'all ain't pay the Passover fee. What y'all waiting on now?
I'll take care of it right now, sir.
That's on you.
Con.
Lord be with you.
Con, I don't want con, sir.
Lord be with you.
Hey, I don't give a love fuck about what them bitches gotta say. I'm a West nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't give a love fuck about what them niggas gotta say. I'm a West nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't care about what they say. Hey. Fuck with my Akima, fuck with my sister, then I got a problem, I'm never gonna miss you. I got 100 hanging out the AR, I got a 50 hanging out the pistol. He says.
So I have to be honest and let you know that I screamed a little bit when I heard you say, "What's up, baby?" Ah, man, like what? What are we gonna do? Cause this is torture.
Just call my can't bleed and request me. Just call my can't bleed and request me. Just call my can't bleed and request me. Call my can't bleed and request me. Just call my.
From a spark to a flame, it burns bright. Like the feeling when you finally got my name right. Like a star in the dark, you provide light. Yeah, this could turn into something if we align right. I see you trying to change your life cause you want better. What I'm convinced in 6 months better is together. A story written for the ages, so in this short time, let's be open books. Explore pages like, are you down through all the changes? Jah finds out I'm an Israelite. I lose wages, how about the times and every month when you change phases? And after that, getting your cheeks clapped in different places. Matter of fact, I tell you now, you'll need leg braces. Cause after camp, do benevolence, sensations. And after camp, excavations and temptations. Move that damn hand, girl, that's a violation. Can you follow orders, I wonder? Cause when I'm mad, my voice sound like thunder. It's all love, my pretty dove, just want you to be something that I'm proud of. It's my job to correct, so never disrespect. A white rose, you wanna be chose, I'ma hit your camp leader, see how it goes, and pray that he don't oppose, cause that's how this old UPK thing goes. Decently and in order so we escape woes. You really do impress me, and now I can't wait until your spirit reflects me. Look in the mirror and tell yourself you accept me, and take the steps to call my camp leader and
just
request me.
Call my camp leader and request me. Call my camp leader and request me. Just call my.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting excited. Oh wee, yeah, I'm getting excited. Yeah, I did hear that music.
Shalom. This year for the 56th annual Passover, Commanding Junior YAHANNA will be offering babysitting services for free for anyone that pays their $200 Passover fee. For paid babysitting and registration for babysitting, please contact Officer Yardan at 773-970-4343. Shalom.
Shalom. The I.S.U.P.K. Washington, D.C. School under Command Junior YAHANNA now has a call-in hotline for any and every question that you may have about the Bible. Unlike the Christian church, we are here to teach the truth about the Bible. Call in and get your questions answered from the real priests and prophets of the Lord. Call 202-989-1950. That's 202-989-1950. Shalom. Shalom.
On Westboro.
Right.
Everything is lawful. What's world?
The pressure on, I remember
remember bringing nothing home. Make it little just to make it known. Steady, ready, better watch your tone. When I was 5'7", I was breaking bone. I had a 5'7", now I want the chrome. 9/11, I was in my zone. Lose the argument or lose your dome. Keep cool, ain't no running up. How damn, now I'm coming up. They coming against me, you dumb or what? You drawn, you done enough. They told me don't rush it, just wait my time. Paying attention, I see the signs. Coming right to me like Amazon. No time for distractions, I'm on the grind. Little shorty, your ticket, she knows she fine. Got a couple of so never mind. They throwing the shade cause they know I shine. Reason I'm going in overtime. You stuck in your ways, you keep fantasizing. I just go get it, don't think about it. Don't make it an issue, it ain't a problem. Not too much talking, just organizing. One Westward, no way around it. Heavy, so you know I'm grounded. Too sturdy, I'm well rounded. Tunnel vision, I don't see a challenge. Get a minute, I'm killing it. Case closed, I don't need a gavel. Know you hate it, don't even matter. New page, still the same time.
People might, but just never forget that I do not. Always have that fresh in your mind. That I feel absolutely nothing for your pain and your problem. Because I know that all of your pain and problems are a test to make you stronger.
I live in a world where we coincide. If you're not ready to stay inside, you drowning away, you gonna ride. You stick to the end, you get glorified.
Seeing if you're gonna step up into what's world, you're gonna run.
Stick to the end, you get glorified. Let's make it official, I'm one of them. One of the greatest is no exempt. It took me a minute to figure it out. I was struggling, it made a man. I shuffled the deck and I played my hand. Just give me a reason to put them on you. Didn't believe that I had me a vision. Should I believe that you niggas loyal? We giving up game, they fumbling plays. I'm tired of talking, I'm racked out. Before that we started, they tapped out. I jumped in my duffel and blacked out. What you witnessing is elevation. Glory road to my destination. The haters, it's a celebration. And I put that on my reputation. When the fall, this a demonstration. Get sick and I know they hate it. One Westworld every season. Hot boy, this dedication. I'm giving game, I don't need favors. Go against us, you gon' see the danger. You ain't family, you a damn stranger. I'll beat your ass, I don't need a baby. I don't got time for excuses. I'm plotting on making the killer. I'm getting the feeling, they know that I'm coming, I'm running. Let's get to the business. I was still playing my post. Taking the rim like diesel. Don't run with too many people. I don't feel none of us equal. None of us equal.
And there are some brothers and sisters that know that so much, they would never leave you. They would never abandon you. Since you have to stay alive here, they'll stay alive with you.
I live in a world where we coincide. If you're not ready to stay inside, you drowning away, you gonna ride. You stick to the end, you get glorified. You stick to the end, you get glorified.
They're one West. 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 They're one West.
Shalom, Israel. Shalom, Yahweh, Shemi Yahweh Brakatah to the brothers. Yahweh Shema Latham Shemi Yahweh to the sisters. We're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General YAHANNA. We do not affiliate with any other Israelite group or Christian organization. Since 1969, we've been teaching the truth of the Bible. The so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, you know what I'm saying? When I say black, I mean West Indian, you know what I'm saying, Haitians, you know what I'm saying, as well. The ethnic Jews, you know what I'm saying, the Israelites of the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Also that the white man, the colonizer, the slave master, whatever you want to call him, is the devil that the same Bible speaks of. You know what I'm saying? This is the Tuesday Brotherhood class. You know what I'm saying? I am priest and officer Shapat Dayak. You know what I'm saying? We had somebody we're here shortly. But right now, we're just gonna bring the class in. You know what I'm saying? Put in the comments real quick. Got any questions or comments? Put it in the chat. I could, if you can hear me clearly, you put a 1 in the chat. Make sure we can get this class started. We got no technical difficulties, nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me clearly. Almost made me think you can't hear me. The 1's in the chat. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Throughout a young man dating. Got a 1 in the chat. On YouTube. Anybody on Facebook? Anybody on Facebook? Make sure you can hear me. You know what I'm saying? But keep looking. We're gonna continue on with the class though. Title of the class today. You know what I'm saying? Christians ignore the Old Testament. Whole time, that's what Christ and the prophets was teaching. You know what I mean? Where do you think they got it from? You know what I mean? Christ spent time in the temple reading the Old Testament. You know what I mean? We'll get a Quick roll call. We got Princess Nazam Anah here. Shalom, Shema, Shalom, Yahweh, Shema, Lathan, Bashim, Yahushua. We got the sister Require here. Shalom, Yahweh, Shema, Lathan, Bashim, Yahushua. The sister Shirai, I'm messing your name up, my bad. Shirai Yaquai here. You know what I'm saying? Shalom, Yahweh, Shema, Lathan, Bashim, Yahushua. Super regards, your honor. What's going on, mighty man? Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushua. Young man dating in here. Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushua. King A, what's going on, brother? Shalom and Shakita. Tanya, Israel in here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. How about Shakita? The young man Steve in here. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, mighty man? Shalom, Yahweh Shakita. You know what I'm saying? Glad y'all joining us today. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and get it on. But yeah, Christians ignore the Old Testament. Meanwhile, that's what Christ was teaching. That's what the prophets was teaching. You know what I'm saying? Christ said, I came not to destroy the law or the prophets, because they all taught the same thing. And what they was teaching was the Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get straight to it. I'm going to go straight into the book of Jeremiah, because some of the things that they teach, they ignore, you know what I'm saying? Like we'll draw the comparison. It's in the old and in the new. It was from the old to the new, God never changed it. You know what I'm saying? Because of they teaching it that way, like we don't pay attention to the old, like God changed his mind. Now all of a sudden they trying to take our birthright and give it to everybody. You know what I'm saying? They try to say you can do certain things so they can turn around and fulfill all they lust and do all the sin they want. Like you can just pay for it because they got, you got grace to pay your tithes, pay that 40,000 after they lock the door and everything's okay. You go right back outside if they unlocked the door, and you go do the same thing, smoking cigarettes, weed, being a drunkard, you know what I'm saying, hating your kids, hating your spouse, cheating on your husband, you know what I'm saying, lying to your wife, this, that, and the third, all of it. You know what I mean? But you find out, you know what I'm saying, with both of them the same, you still can't do those same things you couldn't do in the Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get it here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start off with the book of Malachi. Book of Malachi 1-3. They teaching in that thing, part of the way they try to say that why they teaching that everybody can be saved and all that. They talking about God love everybody. I never seen nowhere in the Bible where they say God love everybody. You know what I mean? It's one of the hardest, that's one of the hardest verses to find. It's the last book of the Old Testament. Last book of the Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? Book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 1. The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. You know what I'm saying? So this the Lord giving the word to Israel. You'll find that the prophets were given all the, they're speaking on visions they were given. A lot of them got this foreseated time that hasn't even happened, or a time that was to come, you know what I'm saying, back then that's already passed. You know what I mean? This is what the Lord told Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I love Jacob. Who was Jacob? You know what I'm saying? Father of blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. His name was later changed to Israel. So he's the father of the Israelites, I being son of Israel, Israelite. You know what I'm saying? That's who Jacob is in this Bible. And Jacob, he was given the covenant from his father that was passed down, father Isaac, who passed it down. It was given from his father Abraham. That's why in the Bible you usually it'll say the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because this is a bloodline. So Jacob was given the covenant. God loves Jacob. You know what I'm saying? Verse 3. And I hated Esau and laid his mountains. You know, Esau is the father, the progenitor of the white race. It doesn't matter if it's Russian, Jewish man, these I would think they call them Anglo-Saxon, born bred American, white Americans over here. It don't even matter which one it is. You know what I mean? All white men come from Esau. His name was later changed to Edom, but he comes from the mountains. This is the proof right here. You know what I'm saying? He's the original caveman. They never even lie to you. They show you all the time. Where they show you a caveman. You never seen a black caveman. They're always white. You know what I'm saying? Not even lying to you with that. They are the cavemen. And the Lord said, I laid his mountains and his heritage to waste for the dragons of the wilderness. You know what I mean? And you know, in the Bible, it always calls the heathens. The Lord always calls the heathen beast or dragon, something, you know, something like that. But Esau, the Lord said he laid his land to waste. You know what I'm saying? You wonder why he all around the world trying to conquer everywhere else. You know what I'm saying? The Bible calls him a vagabond. You know what I'm saying? A vagabond and a fugitive. He done went around the whole world committing crimes and not trying to pay for them. You know what I mean? He's a fugitive running from the crimes that he did. You know what I'm saying? A vagabond. He ain't from America. He ain't from Australia. None of that. You know what I mean? He ain't from Europe. You think he from Europe? Nah. Most of us do think he's from Europe. They call him a European. He's not a European. You know what I'm saying? He's from the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. That's why they call him a Caucasian. You know what I'm saying? And right here, the Lord is saying, in that church, they saying that God love everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a dead cut right here. The Lord said he hated Esau. This is in the Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? When we bring it out today, is Christians try to ignore this. You know what I'm saying? So you got to know when we go to the New Testament version of it, they try to ignore that too. It's right there. If you go to Romans, we're gonna go to Romans 9 and 13. You know what I'm saying? Go to Romans 9 and 13. It say the same thing as saying the Old Testament. So why would Christians ignore this? It say it twice in the Bible. Even the place that they like to say, oh, we only go by this part right here. Well, it says it here too. But you find out Christians actually hate what the Bible says. They don't follow any of that. You know what I'm saying? Romans 9 and 13 say, as it is written. Where is it written? We just read it. In the book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 3, verse 2 and 3. As it is written, Jacob have I loved. Once again, they go Jacob, father of blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. You know what I'm saying? Right there in the New Testament say the same thing as the Old Testament. You know what I mean? And why would this, the book of Romans, this is Paul writing a letter to the school in Rome. You know what I'm saying? The Israelite school in Rome. This letter that he's writing to is to Israelites. You know what I mean? And why would he have to say and repeat what was written in the Old Testament? Why? Because the same thing that's happening today was happening back then. You know what I mean? There were people trying to say God loved everybody. You know what I mean? There were people trying to say everything they say today in the church, they were doing it back then too. Paul's writing a letter right now. You know what I mean? Saying the same thing just because of that. You know, so this is one thing. The first thing we're gonna bring out that's in the Old Testament that Christians try to ignore, even though it's right there in front of them in the New Testament. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep going on. Verse 14. What shall we say then? Is there righteousness with God? You know, what you gonna try to say? God is wrong? That should let you know if God said that he hated the white man and you love the white man, who's wrong? You or God? You find that Christians are not going to say that God is wrong. They're going to try to make every excuse in the book. You know what I mean? But they're not going to say God is wrong. So if God said he hated Esau, why are you talking about God love everybody? That's a direct cut right there. Just him hating that one person, that means he didn't love everybody. Let alone all through this book, he talks about other races of people other than blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, like they're nothing. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get to that too. You know what I mean? But you try to say it's unrighteousness with God, they never say that. And Paul as well. The next line say, God forbid. That means hell nah, no unrighteousness with God. You know, if you find that you disagree with the Lord hating white people, well, you hate God. You know what I'm saying? You hate the Bible. You hate what the Bible says. You more likely are an enemy to the Lord. When you sin, you don't do what the Lord say, you're an enemy to the Lord. You know what I mean? You might be the one, you more than likely, you're the one who's unrighteous. Matter of fact, that's a definite if you disagree with the Lord. You know what I mean? You don't go keep on, you know what I'm saying? That's something with God doesn't not love everybody, as they say in the church. You know what I'm saying? One thing that they try to follow up with, you know, everybody knows it. You know, I could probably ask in the chat and everybody gonna get this right. What's the main thing they try to go to when they say that God loves everybody? You know what I'm saying? We're gonna lock you right quick, Israel. Oh, you made it. See, I'm saying it's the lock, Israel. You know what I'm saying? Got priest and officer, you know what I'm saying? Zak Ahmad, you know what I'm saying? If you don't know what that means, you know, Kazak means strong, you know what I'm saying? Ahmad, like we say Ahmad, we doing a salutes. Ahmad means stance, strong stance, if you didn't know what his name meant. You know what I mean? There you go. The water, young man dating, Black Dazzle, Sister Kerr, you know what I'm saying? John 3:16, that's what they're gonna go to every single time. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go ahead and get it. Let's go ahead and go to it. It's always best to follow along so you know you can see it for yourself. Don't just leave what people saying. You want to look it up. You know what I mean? And, you know, we always challenge a person to say we not reading from the Bible or challenge what we saying about the Bible. You know what I mean? Wow. John 3:16. It's the main thing they're gonna try to go to say God loves everybody. And this is the New Testament right here. You know what I'm saying? So they follow this. They don't ignore this. They gonna say this quick, fast, in a hurry every single time. You know what I'm saying? It's the book of John, chapter 3, verse 16. For God so loved the world. That's they proof right there. That's what they going with. Well, Christ said, because the words are in red. So, you know, they claim they follow Christ, but they pick and choose what they want to follow. You know what I mean? So they right here say God so loved the world. You know what I'm saying? But once again, you know, for anybody who hasn't been in one of our classes, we teach what it means when Christ say God so loved the world. First of all, for some content, that's two Israelites having a conversation. You know what I'm saying? You don't include everybody in your business with your people when you say, yeah, everybody, or yeah, all of us. You know what I mean? That don't mean everybody that's over there in the corner that you don't know from any time. You know what I'm saying? You don't know from the forget the saying, but you don't even know them. Why would they be involved in what you're talking about? You know what I mean? But God so loved the world. You know what I mean, we're gonna explain to you exactly what it's talking about. So I'm gonna go to first. If you follow along, hold that. Stay on the John 3:16. But one of the benchmark scriptures we like to go to break down the world, the book of Psalms. The book of Psalms, chapter 90, verse 2. You know what I mean? The first thing you want to go to just to get it, just to prove wrong what they saying, the world is.
I got it when you ready, priest.
Come, some water, sir. I'm ready for you.
Psalm chapter 90, verse 2. Before the mountains were brought forth.
Before the mountains were brought forth. You know what I'm saying? You know, talking about the Lord when he created the mountains. A lot of times in the in the Bible as well. You know, we're talking about hills and the mountains be the governments, but right here we just talking about the mountains. If I could, sir.
Or ever thou hast formed the earth and the world.
See, it says thou, the thou. This is King David talking to God. Thou has formed the earth and the what, sir?
And the world.
And the world. So right there, you see, if you know what the word "and" means, you know that's making a distinction from the two things being mentioned. So the earth and the world. You know what I mean? That's two different things. But most people would say, especially Christians, you'll ask them. So when it says, "For God so loved the world," is that the whole earth? They're gonna say, yeah. This verse shows that the Bible makes a difference, ciphers between the two. The earth and the world are two different things. You know what I mean? Got any more on that, sir?
Even from everlasting to everlasting, thou art God.
Everlasting is forever. And it doubled up. Everlasting, everlasting. You know what I'm saying? So throughout all of time, when you say world, you know what I'm saying, it's not the earth. You know, so if I could get the book of Isaiah 45 and 17, you know what I mean? You would Salak, if I could, you get book of John 17 and 9 first. Let's go there first. You know what I mean? But we see it's a distinction, you know what I'm saying, between the earth and the world automatically.
Right.
I mean, this was Christ talking to Nicodemus about it. He was the one who said it. So let's hear what Christ has to say about it.
Go ahead, priest.
Oh, God, sir.
John chapter 17, verse 9. I pray for them. I pray not for the world.
What? Is this Christ talking, sir?
Yep, it's Christ.
Oh, God, sir. Now, see, Christ, the one who says, "For God so loved the world," he just said, "I pray for them, not the world." So we know the world is not the earth, and it can't be everybody because Christ said he prayed for them, not the world. So let's find out who the them is. So do you have any more on that?
Yep. But for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine.
Now, this was some time's sake, you know, he said, "Which thou hast given me," right? So in the book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 21, the angel told Joseph, "She shall have a child," talking about Mary, Christ's mother, "and he shall save his people." He has a people. That's the people, that's them that God gave him, his people. You see what I'm saying? He shall save his people from their sins. And say everybody, you know what I mean? But we get into that as well. So Christ ain't praying for everybody. If Christ's not praying for everybody, he definitely didn't come for everybody. And he definitely didn't mean that the world and God, for God so loved the world, was everybody. You see what I'm saying? See how easy it is to just break that down, you know, and the Christians not paying attention to the Old Testament, they're gonna walk right past Psalms 90 and 2. You know, I read that scripture to so many people, and they be like, "Huh? The world's not the earth?" And then they just get quiet and they really start listening, you know, whether they want to believe it or not. Because I told you, start reading out the Bible, they're gonna let you know if they're an enemy to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Real fast. They're usually gonna try to cut it short. But you know what I'm saying? So Christ's not praying for the whole world. He said he's praying for them. But to find out who the them is, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna take you once again to the Old Testament. You need the Old Testament, you know, so you can't just ignore it. You know what I'm saying? This Bible is all one book. It flows like a river. You know what I'm saying? It's a history book. And this time, generation, generation, generation. You just can't say, "Well, look, I don't care what my great-great-grandfather did." You know what I mean? It makes a difference. You know, because those lessons that he taught, you know what I'm saying, your great-grandfather got taught to your grandfather, and they come back to you. You supposed to be learning from them lessons. And that's what this is right here. Lessons being pulled down from generations aforetime. And you know, the most high hand, because he made sure we didn't lose these records right here. So we can look back. Everything's in here. Gentrification's in here. You know what I'm saying? Us hating on each other's in here. You know what I'm saying? Like we can learn from all of this that had gone on beforehand. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You got that, sir? Isaiah 45 and 17.
Somebody call for it. It's like,
no sweat,
priest.
Yeah, we're gonna find out who the world was talking about. He was talking about when he said the world. You know what I mean? Because obviously it ain't everybody. You know what I mean? If I could, sir.
Yep. Isaiah chapter 45, verse 17. But Israel shall be saved.
Israel shall be saved. It didn't say anybody else. And that's the beginning. That should sum it up for you right there, right here in the beginning of the scripture. Israel shall be saved, if I could.
With an everlasting salvation.
Everlasting salvation. And what does salvation mean? To be saved. You know what I'm saying? It's being saved. You know what I'm saying? If you got to save something, that with, you know, obviously somebody's in danger. Israel shall be saved because Israel's in danger. We the ones, everybody in our neighborhood eating up all our funds, selling us garbage. You know what I mean? Everybody look at us, you know, take advantage of us in any type of way. We don't get the job before they do. We get fired before they do. You know, every way possible we can have it bad, which leads us into danger. It's going on in this world today and back then. You know what I mean? It's nothing really different right now till Christ come back, till we get in the kingdom. We not safe. You know what I'm saying? Till the kingdom comes here, we don't have salvation. You know what I mean? It says Israel shall be saved with an everlasting salvation. Guess what? Everlasting means once we get saved, we won't be in danger anymore.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They won't have an opportunity to get a leg up on us at all. You know what I mean? Not 1 foot in front of us in the race. That's what it is. That's why they say races of people. Yeah, we all racing. You know what I'm saying? But we supposed to be in the lead. If I could, sir.
Yep. Keep reading.
Come on, sir.
Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded. World without end.
Ashamed nor confounded. What, sir?
World without end.
See, Israel is that world.
That's right.
That Christ was talking about. You see what I'm saying? Meanwhile, they try to use that John 3:16 to make it like God loves everybody. No, God does not love everybody. We just broke down that he hated Esau. You know what I mean? Don't try to squeeze this in, because Romans 9:13 is right there in the New Testament with it. Don't ignore the Old Testament. You know what I mean? You could have found out a long time ago that Israel is the world that you're talking about. The world is not the same thing as the earth. You know what I mean? If I could, sir, can I get the rest of John 3:16?
Yep.
We're going to run it back and really just give you the real full scale of what Christ was trying to say in John 3:16. Now we know it ain't talking about the entire world. You know what I mean? Not talking about the entire world. It's talking about Israel. So let's get the gist of it. You know what I mean? SHALAM, YAHANNA, young man Kev up in here. Beverly Thomas. YAHANNA, Elathon by Shimmy Yahweh sis. Got anybody else in here? Oh yeah, I never shouted Black Dazzle. SHALAM, YAHANNA, Shema Elathon by Shimmy Yahweh. I think that we got Trinidad in the building. SHALAM, YAHANNA, Shimmy Yahweh, sir. Who else we got? SHALAM, YAHWH, Shema Elathon by Shimmy Yahweh, Kelly, usual. All right. Got that, sir?
Yep. John chapter 3, verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son.
His favorite son, his special son. You know what I'm saying? If you remember, I told you that the Lord changed Jacob, the forefather of our forefather of Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, named Israel. Israel in the Hebrew is Yashala. Yashala means Prince of the Power. In so many words, Son of God. You know what I'm saying? So Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, you are a son of God too. You are a daughter of God too. You know what I'm saying? You're daughter of Zion. You know, you got to know that we all are by birth. You know what I mean? This is how you came out. And guess what? You before in another life beforehand, we're gonna get to that. You was also that. And the life afterwards, you'll always be an everlasting son or daughter of the Lord. You see what I'm saying? And Christ so happened to be the Lord's favorite son. Why? Because he did everything to the T. You know what I'm saying? He didn't sin, and he was flesh like us. You know what I'm saying? Showed how to be doing it. The innocent man that even died for us. You know what I'm saying? Just with all of that, he is the Lord's favorite. And the Lord put him up because, no matter of fact, we're going to get to that part. We'll get to that if I could, sir.
Yep. That whosoever believeth in him should not perish.
Now, whosoever should believe in him. And Christian might try to continue on and say, nah, he said whosoever. You know what I'm saying? So that now took it from just the world. Now you're talking people, whosoever. Could I get Acts 2 and 21?
Absolutely.
You know, Acts 2 and 21. You know, we get rid of that whole thought right there because we really just try to break down what John 3:16 really means.
Right.
Why they using it so wrong? Whatever you got it, sir.
Acts chapter 2, verse 21. And it shall come to pass
that it will happen.
Right. That whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved.
They go that whosoever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they always try to say, whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. What is that? The Asian call on the name of the Lord, he shall be saved. African call on the name of the Lord, who, by the way, was one of our worst enemies in this Bible. You know, half the wars we went through was with Africans. Half the strife we went through was with Africans. So they can call on the name of the Lord and they'll be saved. You know what I'm saying? Saved from what? You know what I mean? They all got their own countries, armies. They got rockets. You know what I mean? We ain't got no rockets. What do they need to be saved from? But the whole time, can a heathen, the Lord calls them heathens, just call on the name of the Lord, because it says whosoever. Let's find out, if I could, the next verse, sir.
Yep. Verse 22. Ye men of Israel.
Who?
Ye men of Israel.
If you can keep going, sir.
Hear these words.
Hear these words. That's who's being talking to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Who's being spoken to? It says, hear these words, ye men of Israel. It didn't say Africans, Asians, nothing. You'll find in this whole entire Bible, everywhere it says, oh, ye men of Israel, children of Israel, you know, all of that, all the way over. In every single chapter, you know, they're not, maybe not every single chapter, but you'll find that it has nothing to do with anybody else in this whole Bible. Even when you try to say whosoever, that's the whosoever. When you try to say love the world was Israel. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So if I could go back to John 3:16, sir.
John, please.
John
chapter 3, verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish.
Should not perish. Now see, he said the Lord gave his only begotten son. He so loved the world of Israel that he took an innocent man, his favorite son, the innocent one. You know what I'm saying? And he had him sacrifice his own self. Why would he do that? It's like give you an example. If you got kids, you got the, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times you got one of them who does everything that you say. One of them, you know, that just no matter what you say, they bucking or they just sneaky, they trying to get around it. Everything you say, they don't listen. They're hard-headed. You know what I mean? But that's like you taking the one that does everything you say. You know what I mean? Like he the all-star in all the sports, plus he get the straight A's or she, you know what I mean? And you take that child right there, and for no reason, every single time that any of the other kids doing something, you tell that child to go in the room. You punish that child, you get them a whooping. You don't whoop them, but you whoop the one who did nothing at all and send them in the room. You know what I'm saying? And it's supposed to be a lesson. It's supposed to be a lesson that if I did this to somebody, you know, saying my child that ain't do nothing wrong, imagine what I do to you. and you are doing something wrong. You know what I mean? That's the whole premise of it. That's why he let you know, like, man, he trying to give you the ultimate example. I took my favorite son to show you a lesson. And what was the lesson again, if I could, sir?
What you want?
After begotten son?
It's that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life.
You know what I'm saying? Shall not perish. This is, like I said, this is for the bad kids. You know, the whosoever is the ones in our community that you never thought would amount to nothing. You know, the drug dealers, the pedophile, you know what I'm saying? The LGBTQ member, you know what I'm saying, the murderer, you know what I'm saying, the thief, the ones that you thought were lost and gone and they would never make it back. You know what I'm saying? And even in stuff that you think is small, we grew up like Gentiles. We grew up in America doing every heathen thing. You know what I'm saying? That the Lord thinks is just as disgusting as the things I just named. You know what I'm saying? We may look at it as little things, but eating pork is disgusting to the Lord. You see what I'm saying? All that you messing up with the dietary, that's disgusting to the Lord. You hating your brother is disgusting to the Lord, even if you didn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? This right here, whosoever that believeth on Christ, you know, and caught the example that the Lord gave, you know, they can come back. They have a chance. You know what I'm saying? The one that teacher said wasn't gonna be nothing, their parents said wasn't gonna be nothing, everybody in the world said they wasn't gonna be nothing. That was a chance. They can come back, you know. Like you'll see it these days. Like, you know, I would go ahead and say it. I was never what they considered a good guy. You know what I'm saying? I always bucked the system myself. And look where I am now. John 3:16 was for folks like myself. You see what I'm saying? And folks like you, if you're doing the same thing and you out there, you got a chance. And Christ died for you to wipe the slate clean. Come in here. You know what I'm saying? You actually owe your life.
Right.
You actually owe your life. Christ gave his life. You see what I'm saying? And to spit on his death, that's like, it's a good example we like to give. You know, it's like you in a car accident. No, your child is in a car accident, and they call you and they right around the corner, and they call you like, look, I'm right around the corner. I think I just killed somebody with the car. And you say, hold up, stay right where you are. You run out there real quick. You tell them to go in the house. There's nobody's around, and you go and you sit there and you call the police from there, and you end up going to jail for manslaughter. You know what I mean? And you get a call like a year later, and your child tell me I did it again, and you sitting in jail. You ain't even do nothing. That's what it's like when you spit on Christ. You know what I'm saying? Christ's death. You know what I mean? He didn't die for you to continue to sin. And that's what John 3:16 is about. An innocent man died so you can have a chance. You know what I mean? It wasn't for us to try to bring everybody in. See, it's so trifling and disgusting how the church is trying to take such a beautiful scripture and make it for everybody.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That was the end on that, right, sir?
Yeah, that's the end on that one.
I could get the book of Jeremiah 31 and 31. I mean, as like we was talking about before, this book ain't for everybody.
That's right.
They trying to give everything away. And salvation means saving. Nobody else needs saving but us. You know what I mean? It's crazy how they try to do it, and they ignore everything that the Old Testament says. Old Testament says all throughout it, all Israel. You get to the New Testament, you trying to ignore that it says only Israel can be saved. Now you want to give it to everybody else. Christians, you can't ignore the Old Testament. It's got the same thing in it as the New Testament. Excuse me, Salah. I could, sir. You got that?
Yep. Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant
A what, sir?
A new covenant.
Now, this is that new covenant that Christians always try to say they don't have to use the Old Testament for.
Right.
It's right here in the Old Testament.
That's right.
Speaking of the New Testament in the Old, but they said at the beginning the day will come because that day wasn't there then.
Right.
You know what I mean? I could, sir.
With the house of Israel.
With the house of who?
With the house of Israel.
Anybody else included?
And with the house of Judah.
That would be Israel as well. Judah,
right.
Judah can be short for the word. Judah could be just for the tribe of Judah, and it also was the name of the southern kingdom of Israel. Right. We had the civil war and the split. Southern kingdom was called named Judah, and the birthright of the name was given to Ephraim. The Ephraim, that was like the head tribe of the northern kingdom. You know, given to Ephraim from his father, Salaki, from his grandfather. Salaki, from his grandfather Jacob. You know, said Joseph tried to slide Manasseh in there because he was the oldest, but you know, Joseph knew who he wanted to give it to. You know what I mean? So Ephraim got the name. So that's where you get the two splits from. It was a civil war. You had Judah, which was 2.5 tribes. That was the Judah, Benjamin, and half of Levi, who were the priests. And then you had the rest of the tribes, you know, so Ephraim, Manasseh, Naphtali, you know, all the rest of them, and then half of Levi with them too, because they were the priests. You know what I mean? Well, it says right here, the New Testament is to Judah and Israel. So, like, sir, if you could keep going, let's see if it was to anybody else.
Verse 32. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers.
See, I mean, it said their fathers, right? So that means there wasn't nobody else there.
Right.
You know, we still talking about Israel and Judah. You know what I'm saying? In a whole, Israelites.
Right.
The real Jews, right? And then not according to the covenant that was made with the fathers, because who did the old covenant belong to? Same people the New Testament, the new covenant belongs to. You know what I'm saying? And that would be Israel. If I could, sir.
Yep. In the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt.
Everybody knows that story of Moses, how he brought us out of Egypt. If I could, sir.
Which my covenant they break.
And that covenant was broken. That's why it's going to be a new one. You know what I'm saying? The old covenant, you know, you had the Lord required you to sacrifice your belongings, you know, your cattle, you know, the things that you you cherished most out of you had to bring that firstling on, that fatling, that one, the first one. And why the Lord wanted that one, you know, I mean, because it meant something to you. That's like you getting your new job and, you know, get that first check. That first check means something to you. You've been waiting for that one to square some things away. You get on your feet. Well, the Lord wanted that one.
Right.
You can do your thing with the second one, but the Lord wanted that one. You know what I mean? The one that meant the most to you. You know what I mean? But no longer did the Lord require that because it wasn't having anybody stop what they were doing. Like today with speeding cameras. You know what I mean? We still speeding. You get that ticket, pay that off, speed the next day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't doing the trick. So the Lord, we broke that covenant with the Lord. You know what I mean? It wasn't working. The Lord gonna make a new covenant. You know what I'm saying? If I could, is there any more on that, sir?
Yo. Although I was an husband unto them, saith the Lord.
And see, you know, say that because, you know, he was our protector. He looked over us. He did everything for us. Gave us these laws, statutes, commandments that gave us life. You know what I mean? It's like you give your children, rules, this, that, and the third. So, and the rules is for their protection. That's solely what you give your kids rules for. You don't want them to grow up and be doing everything wild, so they end up locked up or they end up being disrespectful, end up losing their life behind it. You know what I mean? You give them rules and some type of little morals so they'd be safe. You know what I mean? Keep them out of danger. But the Lord gave us all of that. He was a husband unto Israel. You know what I'm saying? That's what a husband does to his the one his spouse he's married to. Protects them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we was He was being a husband than us, and we was playing the harlot. We everywhere. We Christians, Muslims, Buddhism, Judaism, which is the saddest thing in the world. You trying to be with a people who stole your identity and following their way of your culture. That's crazy.
Right.
It's crazy right there. But he was so, yeah, but yeah, we played the harlot to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? You got any more on that?
Let's into that, please.
Come, sir. If I could, in the book of Hebrews 8:8. What we're showing you is that the Christians gonna ignore that. It clearly said New Testament, which they claim, oh, we doing the New Testament thing. They didn't say that in the Old. You know what I mean? So why would you ignore that? You know what I'm saying? But you'll find that they're gonna ignore anything they don't like because it's right there in the New Testament with them. They don't care if it's saying in the New Testament or the Old.
Right.
You know, Christians don't live by the Bible. They live on their lust and feelings and whatever they feel like. And, you know, they gladly let you lock the door. They just going to pay for it, leave out and do the same thing. You got that, sir?
Hebrews chapter 8, verse 8. For finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel.
Does that sound familiar?
Right.
We just read that in the Old Testament.
That's right.
I mean, we just read that in the Old Testament. And why do Christians not follow the Old Testament? You know what I mean? Like, what is written in the Old Testament is what Christ was trying to teach you, what the prophets was teaching you.
Right.
You know what I mean? We just read verbatim, just the same thing. You had any more on that, sir?
And with the house of Judah.
See, once again, he made a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. That's right there in the New Testament. Right. It showed me where he made another covenant with any other people. You know what I mean? See if we got anybody new in here. Hold up. Oh, what's going on? What's going on? We got Officer Shabam Zakia up in here. Shalom Yahaba Shemi Abishtabra. You know what I'm saying? The nigga right there, it's like, yeah, we got Officer Abawadia Bun God up in here. Shalom Yahaba Shemi Abishtabra, sir. You know what I mean? We got Sadiq Warsome up in here. You know what I'm saying? Shalom Yahaba Shemi Abishtabra, brother. Say Assalamu alaikum. You know, well, I don't know what's your ethnicity, but you know, if you are a black man, you know, West Indian, Native American, Latino, you know, that's not our language. You know, so our language is Hebrew throughout all the time. You know what I mean? I would love for you to stay tuned because I'm going in a little bit of that, you know, with birthright and this, that, and the third. The Lord chose you. He didn't choose any Arab man. Or, you know, you shouldn't be in their belief. Religions are a lie on the Bible. But, you know, Islam is saying that God forsake his own people because, you know, I know a little bit about Islam. You know what I'm saying? That God forsake his own people because they disobeyed. Now he has a new people. You know what I'm saying? Like we just read about the new covenant. The new covenant go to Israel and Judah, and it said everlasting. That means, and we read earlier when it said Israel shall be saved, the everlasting. You know, everywhere in this Bible where it speaks of covenant, the covenant says everlasting. That means forever. The Lord never chose another people. We're getting the more of that, you know what I'm saying? It's that and the third. But you'll find that if you ask any Arab man out there, they know who they come from. They come from Ishmael. They'll tell you off the break, yeah, we the children of Ishmael. You know what I'm saying? We could go to it. I could get the book of Genesis 20 and 17.
Mm-hmm.
We could go to what God said about Ishmael. Yes, he was. Yes, he was a son of Abraham, and that's why today they be over there fighting for the Holy Land because they feel because of Abraham that they have a right to it. They're not fighting. They didn't do a whole bunch of bloody this, that, and the third for Mecca. You know what I mean? Nobody's really fighting for Mecca. You know what I mean? But for centuries, they've been trying to, everybody's been trying to get this one land. And you'll find that that's our homeland.
That's right.
That's what they're fighting over. You know what I'm saying? You got that, sir?
Genesis chapter 2, excuse me, chapter 20, what verse again?
17.
Verse 17. So Abraham prayed unto God, and God healed Abimelech and his wife and his maidservants, and they bare children.
It's 17 and 20. I might got them mixed up. Salaki.
No sweat, no sweat.
Maybe 17 and 20. I don't know why them numbers stuck in my head. Let me check it out. So
yeah, this is what you want.
Awesome.
Genesis chapter 17, verse 20.
Yeah.
And as for Ishmael,
Ishmael is the forefather, like we spoke of Jacob being the forefather of blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, and Esau was the forefather of all the white men, no matter they Russian American, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Ishmael is the forefather of all Arabs. And this is what the Lord had to say to Abraham about Ishmael, his son. Good.
And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him and will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly.
And see, the Lord said he will bless him. Abraham, like Abraham is his friend. You know, he said, I'm gonna bless him. He, you know, he gonna have we ain't get to the 12 princes yet, but he gonna multiply him fruitfully. You know what I'm saying? He gonna have money. Look at him today. The herbs, they over that thing leaving Bentleys in the sand. They got money. It's a lot of them too. If I could, sir.
And will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget.
He had 12 sons. It's kind of crazy that Jacob had 12 sons. Ishmael had 12 sons. Esau had 12 sons. There's a lot of 12 sons going on. It was like the mark right there. You know what I'm saying? If I could, sir.
And I will make him a great nation.
Great nation. They over there rich. They got money. You know, they over there in our land. That whole Middle East is our land. Yeah, that's what they everybody think that's an Arab man's land. No, that's ours. They get money over.
Right.
You know, if I could, sir.
Verse 21, but my covenant will I establish with Isaac.
It said, but the Lord said, but means, you know, okay, that, but
right.
My covenant, the covenant is the promises. You know what I'm saying? The promises and everything that goes with the promise that he made to Abraham, the land. The promises, the covenant, all the salvation, the works. You know, you're not supposed to be teaching this book. You're not supposed to be teaching about God's law, statutes, and commandments or anything of the Lord if you're not Israel. You know what I'm saying? And it's saying it right here, but my covenant, if I could, sir.
But my covenant will I establish with Isaac.
With Isaac. Isaac had a son named Jacob and Esau. He gave that covenant to Jacob. Jacob is the father of blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. That covenant missed Ishmael completely. He got blessed. You can see it in the world today. But the covenant of God goes to you, black man, Latino man, Native American man. That will make yourself a second-class citizen when you are the first. We getting to all that. I just wanted to touch on it so, you know, maybe might spark your interest to even just continue and hear the truth. It took me a while too, you know. Took me a while, you know. I once studied, you know what I'm saying? But when you hear the truth, if it don't set in, that's crazy because you are the one God chose. You know what I mean? If I could, I think we left off on Hebrews 8 and 8. If I could get the book of Romans, chapter 9 and 4.
Romans chapter 9, verse 4. Who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of God and the promises.
That right there, once again, it's telling you Israel, you know what I'm saying, was given the promise of the Lord and the services. Once again, like the services of God is teaching the law, teaching the commandments that the Lord had. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else is supposed to be teaching this. You see a white man teaching the Bible, change the channel. You know what I'm saying? And this is what else I miss. When you go and you're listening to the Quran is based off of Christianity. In the Quran, God loves everybody. You see what I'm saying? The same way, and say that God forsake this people. When you're listening to the Quran, you're listening to an extension, they say, of Christianity. You know what I mean? Because it's not an extension of the Bible. What's being taught in the Muslim mosque is not in the Bible at all. What's being taught in a Christian church is not in the Bible at all. But they do complement each other. You know what I mean? If I could, could you read that one more time, sir?
Uh-huh.
I'm sure.
You. Romans chapter 9, verse 4. Who are Israelites? To whom pertaineth the adoption?
Adoption. What is an adoption? When you know, at one point, the Lord said we weren't his people. You know what I'm saying? That old covenant was broken. The Lord disowned us in the book of Hosea. You know what I mean? But the adoption, we were able to come back. You know what I'm saying? Because of Christ dying, we were able to come back. That's the adoption, if I could, sir.
Mm-hmm. And the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of God and the promises.
And the giving of the law, the Bible says that the Lord didn't give no statutes, commandments, or the law to any other nation. That's in the book of Psalms 147 and 19. He didn't give an Arab anything. You know what I'm saying? And what is it? It's matter of fact, if I get the book of Galatians, Galatians 8, book of Galatians 8. Salaki. Look at Galatians chapter 8. It's in there somewhere. Salaki. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to bring out what the Lord said about anything different than what he gave.
There's no Galatians 8.
Oh, 1 and 8. Is it 1 and 8?
This is Galatians chapter 1, verse 8.
No, that's not it. It's in Galatians though.
Paraphrase. What is it saying?
If any man or angel give anything else in this gospel, let him be accursed.
It's it right here.
That is it.
Mm-hmm.
Concert 1 and 8. Concert.
Galatians chapter 1, verse 8. But though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you,
I listen up, because if you know, saying it in Islam, they say the angel Gabriel came to Muhammad and gave him the Quran bit by bit until whatever month that he went and fasted, he was given the whole Quran, right? Well, this is what the Bible says about that long before Muhammad tried to say anything different.
Right.
If I could, sir.
Mm-hmm. Unto you, then that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed.
It said any man or any angel. It specifically says angel. It's so poetic how the Bible, the Lord put in the Bible what he already knew was going to be said throughout the world. That an angel gave other than this gospel right here. Gospel means good news. You know what I'm saying? To anybody. It said, let him what, sir?
Let him be accursed.
And that means that you're trying to say that Islam is trying to say that the angel Gabriel should be accursed. You know what I'm saying? And this Bible covered all ground before all the lies were told. You know what I'm saying? Or as the lies were being told. You know what I mean? So hopefully you get what I'm saying, and like you just really stay and learn the truth, because if you're Black, Latino, or Native American, the kingdom belongs to you, and we gonna keep get to it. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna stay on it. We just gonna keep moving. If I could get the book of John, chapter 4, verse 22. Hear from Christ again. You know what I mean? We already talked about in the Old Testament, it said all the covenant was given to Israel or Judah. You know, we went to Hebrews 8 and 8 in the New Testament.
Right.
You know, why you ignoring the old? Because it's saying in the new. You know, same thing. All the covenant and everything was given to Israel or Judah. But in Romans, your boy Paul, who y'all love to lie on, and say he came to everybody else. He said Israel. He started off with Israel. You know what I mean? Men of Israel, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's who belongs to service of the Lord, the glory, you know what I'm saying, the promises, the covenant, all that. That's what Paul said. You know what I mean? In Romans, speaking to other Israelites. Once again, this book is only talking to Israelites. Most of the time, it's Israel just straight talking to Israel. You know what I mean? You got that, sir?
Yep, come. John chapter 4, verse 22. Ye worship, ye know not what.
This little backdrop, this is Christ talking to the woman, you know what I'm saying, at the well, right? And she tried to make it like half of these heathens do out here, you know, yeah, I love Christ. You know what I'm saying? And you got to, she trying to act like she can teach the word. So I had some Africans come up to me the other day. I seen them coming with the little pamphlets. Sit back up. What none of them lies right there. It isn't that, this is that. No. You know, salvation ain't for you. Christ ain't come for you. This, that, and the third. They ain't had no Bible with them. I'm throwing scriptures at us and straight cutting them. Like basically, get out of here. You know, I'm throwing the offensive scriptures at them. You know what I'm saying? You know, Christ said he only came for Israel. You know what I mean? Not you. And they not coming out of the Bible. They was coming out with their feelings, what they thought that Christ might have been saying, what they teaching in the church, in their African church, wherever they go. You know what I mean?
Right.
But this woman is just like that. You know what I'm saying? She talking to Christ, talking about, yeah, my forefathers, we've been here for a couple generations. You know what I'm saying? You know, we pray in these mountains in the temple. Yeah, I'm down. I could, sir.
Yep. Ye know not what ye worship.
Christ said, you don't know what you worship? That'll be funny, because in this Bible, it say the white man dies. You know what I'm saying? If you hear the beginning of the text, you know, it was a white woman. You know, white people die in this book at the end of this movie right here. You know what I mean? So you know not what you worship. I'm pretty sure he was kind of grinning, or if he wasn't straight mad with the stone face, he probably was laughing while he was saying it. So you don't know what you worship. Go ahead, if I could.
We know what we worship.
We know we worship. Where is her?
For salvation is of the Jews.
If you could say that one more time, sir.
For salvation is of the Jews.
It ain't for no Christians, no Muslims, no nothing. Salvation is of the Jews, not that Jewish man.
Right.
You know what I mean? That Jewish man, salvation ain't for him. What he need salvation for? Right. He own the whole world.
Right.
He in everybody's pocket. He in America's pocket. He in everybody's pocket. He got the best defenses in the world. You know what I mean over there. And then he got America bucking with him. You know what I mean? But salvation is of the Jews. And this is Christ talking. You know what I mean? Didn't Christ come to save us? His name is Yahweh, which means deliverer, savior. You know what I mean? And in the Hebrew, that's what that means in English. Now, the Savior deliverer said that my saving is only for Israel,
right?
For the Jews. Now, why would they ignore everything that's being said in the Bible, especially in that Old Testament? Because we definitely just read in Jeremiah where it stated all that. You know what I mean? Salvation is of the Jews.
That's right.
It didn't have to say that in the Old Testament, because wasn't nobody trying to act like salvation was for them. You know what I'm saying? Back there, you know, it was nobody. Everybody had their own gods, which they still do. They still celebrate all their cultures, and that's the other gods. You know what I mean? These days, everybody want to try to stake a claim in the our book, though. You know what I'm saying? Christianity saying God loves everybody. Islam saying that they the chosen people now. The Jewish man, forget about it. He trying to say he is the Jew. Everybody want to be us. We shouldn't want to be them or act like them or take on their customs. Their customs are lame.
Right.
Very bland and lame. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying so much, you know, and think about it. It was very hard when I was trying to study Islam to try to look fly. The gear's basic, you know what I mean? They're wearing a big old dress. You know, I didn't even wear the dress. It was still a long shirt, though. Like, that's a dress. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't do it. I tried to swag it out as much as I could. It's nothing you could do. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, they trying to act like us everywhere in the world. Why would we want to be like them? Salvation is for us. We will be saved from this madness. You know, they hate when we dress like we dress. That's why we need to be saved. We just recently got laws that say we can wear our hair the way we want, our natural hair the way we want at work. You know what I'm saying? Whereas an Indian man can wear a turban. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else can wear what else the Muslim man can wear is kufi. You know what I'm saying? The Arab man, everybody can do whatever they want except for us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But we got the fly style. You know what I mean? They try to act like us all around the world. But you'll find that they hate us. They hate us for it. You know what I mean? Not trying to act like them. Their style is bland. Ain't nothing to even look at. You know what I'm saying? They always looking at us. I could get the book of what time we got? 17. If I could get the book of Matthew 15 and Shalak, if I could. Book of Mark 7 and 26. I'm gonna just read the beginning of this part. Just so they can get a idea,
right?
A picture. I could, sir.
Mark chapter 7, verse 26. The woman was a Greek Syrophoenician by nation.
And what nation, what race of people are Greeks? The Greeks, they are one of those 12 sons of Esau. You know what I mean? The Greeks are white people. And this woman was a white woman. That's what I wanted to bring out for real, if I could, sir.
Mm-hmm. By nation. And she besought him all that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter.
And she was coming because her daughter had a mental illness. That's what the demon is. She had a demon on her. Mental illness is a demon. You know what I mean? And she was trying to get the demon cast out of Christ because she could see Christ performing miracles. You know what I'm saying? This was a Greek woman, so it's a white woman, and her daughter's white. If I could jump to Matthew 15 and 22. Mm-hmm. Now, this is the same story told by two different people. You already know there's variations when two people tell the same story. Mark just so happened, I like to bring that out because Mark let it be known it was a white woman. You know what I'm saying? Where it doesn't really say that. It says the land that she was from in Matthew, if I could.
Mm-hmm. Matthew chapter 5, verse 22. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David.
Now, it says that the land, she came out of Canaan, right? So there was many different people that lived in Canaan, just like we live in America today. That don't mean we're American. The others in the county of Mark said she was a white woman, a Greek. Right. She just lived in Canaan. You know what I mean? So just because you in the place don't mean you are that people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And she besought Christ, saying, "Oh, son of David," because everybody knew that was Joseph's son. Joseph is the one that comes out of David, not Mary. You know what I'm saying? That's people walking around calling Christ son of David. You know what I mean? Yeah, because man, back then we knew firsthand. He was younger from down the street that do all the miracles. You know what I'm saying? Not even believing it on him like that. You still knew who he was. You know what I mean? If I could, sir.
Mm-hmm. Oh Lord, thou son of David, my daughter is grievously vexed with the devil.
Once again, she had mental illness. She had a demon on her, if I could.
But he answered her not a word.
Christ ain't saying nothing to him. He ignored it. You know what I mean? She talking to him. He over here. Ain't paying no mind. Does he look like he would ignore a white woman grieving after him?
Right.
Him. You mean to tell me he ignored the white woman? You know, this is definitely a lie. You know what I'm saying? This is why we have no problem trying to give away our birthright, because we think this devil right here is Christ. Well, that lie is being told the truth of every day in the I.S.U.P.K. You know what I mean? We got a little bit more, we got a lot more work to do, but you know, a lot of people who know Christ ain't white no more, and that's a start. That's some of the principles of the oracles of God, which is the Bible. You know what I'm saying? The basics of the Bible is what I just said. But Christ ignored her. You know, not that guy, the real Christ, if I could, sir.
Mm-hmm. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she crieth after us.
The disciples, you know, basically, if they had their say, they'd have been sent her away. But they was like, you know, bring an order, you know what I'm saying? You know, you at camp, you know, you just can't do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? They came to Christ, was like, man, she bothering us, man. You get her up out of here. This is the disciples of Christ. You know what I mean? The Christ students right here. Now, if Christ came for everybody, why would his students that he's teaching all of this say, man, can we get her out of here? This white woman and her daughter, you know, they need help. If I could, sir.
Mm-hmm. Like it. Saying, send her away, for she cried after us. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
That's out of Christ's mouth right then and there. You know what I'm saying? They was like, wanted to get up, man. He didn't even care about it. Like, I don't even gotta, you know, I ain't even worried about it. I wasn't sent for her. I was sent for the lost sheep, the people who don't even know they the Jews, the people who been Christian Muslims and you know, the Jewish man converting to Judaism. You know, the people rubbing stones and all that together, you know, like believing in witchcraft. I can't even name everything we into today. Oh, what's that Kemet garbage? You know what I'm saying? Think we African. Mm-hmm. Africans don't even believe that.
Right.
Why are we the only ones who believe in that garbage? What African you ever known to study Kemet? I ain't never seen one. It could be some out there. I just never seen them. You know, it's only us blackity blacks in the world, you know what I mean? Fight the power type that want to do that. Well, you know what I'm saying? That's what Christ was referring to when he said the lost sheep. Because without a real leader, you know what I'm saying, we everywhere. We want to be like everybody. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Christ said, man, he only came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
That's right.
You know what I mean? If I could, can we continue on? I almost forgot what my favorite part.
Verse 25. Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. Verse 26. But he answered and said, it is not meat.
It is not meat, M-E-E-T, which means good. Right. It's not good, if I could.
To take the children's bread.
The children's bread. What children is this? The children of Israel. It ain't good to take the children of Israel's bread. Which is the bread? Bread is symbolic a lot of times in the Bible. You know, when they say knowledge is to feed you, knowledge is food for thought and all that. You know what I'm saying? Don't take these miracles and it's knowledge that I'm giving to the children of Israel, if I could,
and to cast it to dogs
and give it to that white woman and her daughter, which he called dogs, and we all know what a female dog is.
That's right.
They call somebody out their name at that time in history was a slander for real. It was like cussing at somebody today. You know what I'm saying? Like crazy. Christ called a white woman and her daughter a dog. You know what I mean?
That's right.
It ain't good to take our right. It ain't good to take this Bible right here and act like it's for everybody else. Christ said differently. You see what I'm saying? Christ said right there, it ain't good to do that. Why is they doing that in the church? It's not good to do. You know what I'm saying? You'll find that once again, whether it be Old Testament or the New Testament, they don't care what Christ said. And a lot of them know it. They know it. When they be searching all through the paper, I gotta find something that I can come with if they try to say that, because they don't want to follow what Christ said. You see what I'm saying? If I could get the book of 2nd Esdras 6 and 54.
Phil, what time, Priest Lock it?
2nd Esdras 6 and 54, Bible Shah.
I
got to get the rolling. That's all we come down to. I got to speed up. That's I got a lot to go through.
2nd Esdras chapter 6, verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures.
And after these, because there were people before Adam. Adam was the only person on the earth, you know what I'm saying, who we all come from, because it's his sons, his grandchildren were the only people who made it through the flood. That's why we all come from Adam. Other than that, there were other people on the earth. They didn't make it. So everybody today that's on the earth comes from Adam. If I could, sir.
Yep. Of him come we all, and the people also.
And the people also.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's about to be a distinction that the Bible's telling you. We all come from Adam. And the people also, if I could.
Whom thou hast chosen.
God got a chosen people. Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. He's talking to you. We are the chosen. We are the Jews, ethnic Jews. If I could.
Verse 55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes.
Yeah, and we supposed to be ruling the world. The world is made for us to be sitting on black sand beaches, and you know it's a pink sand beach somewhere. Like, we supposed to be twiggling toes on beaches. You know, after we done got the work done, we put in a good day's work, because you got to work regardless. It doesn't matter if we're gonna rule the kingdom. We're gonna rule it because we're gonna be working in it. You know, so everybody gonna be working. If you might be shining shoes though. If you're locking doors, talking about you want tithes, and you winging God's people to be scattered to the point where we go to every religion and doing everything and not believing our own history book because you teaching differently. That many people don't believe in the Bible because of what the church is teaching.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. You might end up shining shoes in the kingdom, but you will work. But the world is supposed to be for us to have the advantage. Right now, the white man, I seen a homeless white man the other day complaining about working. I said, bro, I mean, I didn't say bro, but I'm like, son, this world was made for you. It's an absolute shame that this kingdom is yours and you're in the condition you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In my head, I'm like, Most High in Christ. You know what I'm saying? It's a sign of times to come. You know what I mean? If I could, but if I could get the rest of them.
Verse 56. As for the other people.
Now we got it chosen, Blacks, Latino, Native Americans. Now this is everybody else, namely heathens, if I could.
Which also come of Adam.
They come from Adam too, if I could.
Thou hast said that they are nothing.
The Lord called them nothing.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Nothing at all. That's crazy.
Right.
If I could, sir.
But be like unto spittle.
You know, like when you get to rapping real too much, you know, you up on that pulpit and your mouth get dry and they be like, oh, I'm gonna need some water. They trying to drink the water because they got spittle right on the side, if I could, sir.
Yep. And has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
And you don't care about no one drop that falls out of a whole bucket. You know, the Lord, like they're nothing. They can fall on and drop in the same.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let me see. That was 55. I could get a book of Isaiah 47 and 17, sir.
Isaiah 57 and 17?
47.
47.
And 17, sir. Now that was the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha, you don't call it the New Testament, but that comes after the Old Testament. You know what I'm saying?
47 and 17?
Call, sir.
There's no 47.
I write the wrong thing, man. Let me see what I got. Let's see what I got. Write the wrong thing down. SHALAM. 40 and 17.
No sweat. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 17. All nations before him are, all nations before him are as nothing.
This is once again being quoted from the last verse was the same thing as what we just heard here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Book of Isaiah, you know, talking about the Lord, all nations before him are nothing.
That's right.
There you go again. Like what's in the Bible in the full time is in the future. It's still going to be. The Lord's never going to change his mind. And the prophets were all teaching the same thing you might get from it. Because if Isaiah said it and Esdras said it, like these are prophets of the Lord. I mean, it's concrete. They teaching the same thing. All these other books that we named, you know, these were prophets spitting the same thing as other prophets.
Right.
Christ saying the same thing as other as prophets in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? If I could, you got him on that?
Yep. And they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity.
Counted less than nothing. That's in the first in the joint we just read. You know, they like less than like a drop that fall out the bucket. Counted as less than nothing. That's crazy. If I could get verse 15.
Mm-hmm. Verse 15, Isaiah chapter 40, verse 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket and are counted as the small dust of the balance.
Now, we just heard that about the drop out of the bucket.
That's right.
These are prophets teaching the same thing when the Lord never changed his mind. You know what I mean? He never chose an Arab man to be a prophet of God. You know what I'm saying? He got it from an angel. He let them be accursed who said that. You know what I mean? That's what the Bible said. That's what the Lord said. Listen, the Bible is God's word. You know what I mean? And that's what's crazy because in the Quran, it say that the Bible is from God. Yeah. You know, that's what's the crazy part. And let alone all over the Quran, it says that God is favored. You can Google that now. So many verses pop up where it say Israel is favored in the Quran. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, and the Lord will tell you, like, they are nothing. He never picked anybody else to have this right here.
That's right.
We are the chosen people. We always will be. And every prophet that's a real prophet has said the same thing. You know what I mean? If I could get the book of Deuteronomy 7 and 6. You know what I'm saying? We're going to stay with the old for a second, just before we hit you with the new.
You said Deuteronomy
7:6. I'm calm, sir. And most of us heard this before, but we got to read this for anybody who never heard this before.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I could.
Mm-hmm. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
They listen. The Lord said that Israel is a holy. This is Moses talking to the children of Israel. A little context. He said, the Lord said, you are a holy people. Holy, well, you know what I'm saying? For anybody who doesn't know, holy is Kodash in the Hebrew. It means separate and set apart. You are a separate people. You know, we not like nobody else. Just like what we just read, that we all came from Adam and those that God chose. And as for the rest of the people, like there's a special people. You know what I'm saying? We're separate. You know what I mean? If I could, sir.
Mm-hmm. The Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
And look, if you chose something, you didn't choose the rest. God, the people out of Adam that God chose, he didn't choose nobody else to be a special people, like people who win all the medals at the Olympics, right. The people who basically invented everything, because we've been the slaves with, you know, that's why they wanted us as the slaves, right. Because we so smart. You know what I mean? You ever notice at your job, like that boss of yours is pretty damn dumb. You know, he really don't know how to get it done. That's why he always got that one brother, one sister that they keep him in the right pocket. Boom. Give them, and behind closed doors, that brother and sister think they're gonna get ahead by telling them all the good ideas, but you're not gonna get ahead of him. He's using that to his best ability. Behind closed doors, he's not saying it was your idea. You know what I mean? Like, we the smartest, we the special people of the world. Name me another Mike Tyson, James Brown, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, the things we do, they can't even vote and give us a decent score for in the Olympics. You know what I mean? They give us the used books in school. They give us everything less, and we still make the greatest people in the worst conditions. Special.
Right.
Let them be in opposition. It wouldn't turn out people like we do. They can't do it when they can't be better than us, and we in this condition here. You see what I'm saying? You should be able to see that we are the special people. If I could, sir.
Mm-hmm. Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
I love to hear that. We above everybody.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? The world was made for us. We read that again. We read that earlier.
Right.
Above everybody, right?
That's right.
If I could, sir, get the book of Romans 11 and 1. Mm-hmm. Now let's go to the New Testament. You know what I'm saying? Anybody think that God changed his mind? We just read in so many ways how God got a special people that he made the world for, and they above, and you know, they chosen, they not, and like this, you know, he just favors. God is racist. That's racist. You know what I mean? I could, sir.
Yep. Romans chapter 11, verse 1. I say then, hath God cast away his people?
Wait a minute, hold on. Anybody who might be in Islam, has God cast away his people for the Arabs? This is Paul. Paul, the one that the Christians love to lie on. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad that Paul said this, because there's so many Christians in the church today that use Paul to say he going to another nation of people. You know what I'm saying? And Paul going to stamp it right here. This is what I like. He put his stamp on it. If I could, sir.
Mm-hmm. God forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin.
He said, God forbid. Did God get rid of his people? Hell no. That's what God forbid me. Hell no.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? God did not get rid of his people. He did not pass it on to Muhammad. He did not pass it on to everybody who calls on the name of Jesus. You know what I'm saying? No, he didn't pass it on to them. You know what I mean? Because Paul said, man, why you think that I'm going to everybody else and God changes people? I am an Israelite. What I look like?
Right.
Of the seed of Abraham. Then he stated his registry. That man stood up, said, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I am of the seed of Abraham. You know what I'm saying? The tribe of Benjamin. He stated his registry. Let you know he put his stamp on it. Quick. You know what I mean? Like how could you argue with that and say that he was a bad student? Because you're calling him a bad student. You know what I'm saying? And I believe it is in Romans. It's one of these letters where it says that Paul is an apostle of Christ. That means he's a student of Christ. Christ said, I only came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
That's right.
He said, it ain't meat to get, it ain't good to take off the knowledge and the blessings and the bread from the children of Israel and cast it to dogs. Why do you think Paul doing it? Paul got rid of that right here. He got rid of it right there in Romans 11 and 1. What? I am an Israelite from the seed of Abraham and the tribe of Benjamin. He let you know off the break. You know what I'm saying? I could get the book of Psalms 104 and 29. And, you know, they if all the things they be teaching like he's a liar, you know what I'm saying? That like they trying to keep it, it's white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? All of that's white supremacy. Trying to be second-class citizen to a Arab man, that's supremacy for them. But you find they even follow after our oppressor. Our oppressor is the power of the world. Everybody trying to appease him. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's white Christian supremacy. You know what I mean? But you'll find in doing that, a lot of they teaching, they try to teach you that, you got to die to have heaven, you know what I'm saying? So you won't try to have it here. You know what I'm saying? Well, first of all, let's find out what happens when you die. You know what I'm saying? So you know what you have to do. You know what has to be done, what it stands for. You know what I'm saying? Because if you know what happens when you die, then maybe you could try to put a plan together for today. You know what I'm saying, to do. So when tomorrow comes, you might be just a little bit better.
Right.
If I could, sir.
Psalms 104, verse 29. Thou hidest thy face.
This once again in the book of Psalms, this is David talking to the Lord. So the thou is God. If I could, sir. Thou hidest thy face. The Lord turned his face from you. What he's not doing. He ain't watching over you. If I could.
Thou hidest thy face. They are troubled.
They are troubled. When you say they, think of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Or just humans, period. But think of yourself when they say they, when he says they, thou is the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So thou, the Lord, hide his face from you. They are troubled. You are troubled if the Lord hide his face from you. He ain't watching over you. Then, you're also thinking like an older person is getting old and everything's stop working. It's just trouble for them. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to be here no more. But stuff stop working on you. If I could.
Thou takest away their breath.
God, thou takes away their breath. If I could.
They die.
They die. They die. Now then we're gonna find out what happens when you die. If I could, sir.
And return to their dust.
And you return to the dust. What returns to the dust? You know what I'm saying? Like we all been to a funeral before. What happens at the funeral? What goes in the dirt? The body, right? But are we just the body? No, we're not just all just the body. You know what I'm saying? You also have a spirit. You know what I'm saying? And let's find out about this spirit, if I could, sir. Verse 30.
Verse 30, thou sendest forth thy spirit.
Yeah, thou, the Lord, send forth your spirit. Now your body's in the ground. And he sends forward your spirit. Now your spirit is moving on, if I could.
They are created.
And it says they are created. Once again, when he says they, just think of you. You know what I'm saying? You was cast forward and now you are created. How were you created? You see what I'm saying? That's the question you want to know. You know, that you want to answer. That's what we're going to get, size it all up right there. How were you created? You know what I'm saying? If your body's in the ground and you cast forward, if you can answer how you were created, you know what I'm saying? That's you sitting right there. How did you get here? What had to happen for you to get here? You know what I'm saying? Don't make it mystical and magical. Real practical. How did you was once a baby? How did you get here? You know what I'm saying? To know where babies come from, a man and a woman having sex is where that comes from, right? So your old body's in the ground, spirit cast forward, you're created. Now, when a man and woman have a baby, the baby is brand new. So you get a brand new body. You know what I'm saying? And then if I could, sir.
And thou renewest the face of the earth.
And the Lord renews the earth with you in that new body. Just like he renews the earth with the water when it evaporates and then it rains and it goes down and it soaks up in the ground and evaporates again. It moves over here and the wind, when the wind goes all the way to the south, to the north, to the east, to the west, you know what I'm saying? He renews the earth over and over again with the trees, with the animals, with you. There's nothing new under the sun. You've been here before. You know what I'm saying? So just knowing that, it's no YOLO. So no YOLO, that means you'll be back. The Lord will judge you and you will be back. So don't you think you should try to get right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't think you're gonna die and it's gonna be, we gonna get it when we get to heaven. No, you'll be back. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get it right this time. So you could try to work on a little bit better for the next time if the kingdom's not here. Because I got some news for you. The kingdom's everlasting.
That's right.
So where you end up in the kingdom is where you're gonna stay at. You see what I'm saying? You shining shoes, if you end up shining shoes in the kingdom, you and your family, that your seeds that you bringing out, you know, every time you come back, you're gonna be low like the devil that I was talking to. He was a homeless cat complaining about working like, in his own kingdom. That can happen to an Israelite. You might be in the kingdom, but it's too much brotherhood for you to really just be homeless and hungry. God got laws against that. You know what I mean? We feed the homeless. You know what I mean? Just without even lifting a hand. You just following the law, statutes, commandments. The homeless should never be hungry. You know what I'm saying? But because we're not teaching the world like we're supposed to, doing the services of God like that was meant for us only, these heathens, they're going about it in a way where there's homeless people and hungry people in the world. You know what I mean? And all types of chaos, war, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? But I could get the book of Matthew 16 and 13. You know what I'm saying? You need to find out that you are coming back. So when you want to come back and, we be in our kingdom, or we rule, or we got the upper advantage. Right now, old oppressor can unalive you and get away with it, right? Because we're in his kingdom. He got the advantage. He got the privilege. Don't you want black privilege? We so much better. You ever thought, like, how is these mamas over me? Like, we way better. How are they over us? We can have it that way if we just act right. So we born back into it, to the rulership. If I could, sir.
Matthew chapter 16, verse 13. When Jesus came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? And they said, some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elias, and others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets.
See, now we're just talking about what happens when you die. Christ in his life, right there is YAHANNA. He asking the disciples, because at one time we all knew that we come back. You know what I'm saying? He asked, man, who they saying I was in the previous life? That wasn't an odd question to them. They didn't say, huh? What you mean? They said what everybody else was saying, because guess what? If he was asking them, what are they saying? That means all the Jews knew that we came back. At one point, we all knew that we come back. We didn't believe in no YOLO and nothing. We knew the truth of the Lord, that he sends you back. You see what I'm saying? So why would you be waiting for heaven? It's never a heaven in the sky, an everlasting place in the cloud. That's never going to happen. You need to get heaven right here. And how we get heaven right here is by following what the Lord said. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to YOLO it out and do every dastardly thing you can because you think you're not coming back.
Right.
No, the Lord's watching you. And he's going to judge you on it. And when you come back, you might be given to an even worse family. You know what I'm saying? That might have just left you alone with every stranger for you to be, Salaki, if that did happen to you. You know what I'm saying? That's not supposed to happen. That person is supposed to be dealt with accordingly. But, you got to know that all judgments come from the Lord. You see what I'm saying? But you don't want to be in that type of position. You want to have a better life. And the Lord wants that for us. All we got to do is listen to him. You know what I'm saying? At one point, we all knew that we come back. If I could jump straight to the book of Deuteronomy 32 and 22. You know what I'm saying? Let you know that we need ours right here. You know what I'm saying? And for real, once again, to the topic of the class, it's said in the Old Testament what happens when we die. They asking questions in the New Testament that let you know that we all knew that. So why do Christians teach that there's some imaginary place in the sky? What's in the Old Testament is in the New. It told it a little bit more plain in the Old. We should know these type of things. But because we've been led by a Christian society, billions and billions of Christians in the world, Muslims who think they're an extension of that right there, who also believe in a heaven and hell. You know what I'm saying? Imaginary place you go. You know, them Muslims right there, they trying to act as righteous as they can so they can be as sinful as they want to be in that so-called heaven. Now, forget about what's going on right now in Ramadan. They is looting streets and everywhere. You know what I'm saying? They crushing people trying to kiss that rock everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, come on, in Mecca. You know what I'm saying? All over, they going crazy. You know, so you can let them think they being righteous in that this not holy time if you want to. You got that, sir?
Yep. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 22. For a fire is kindled in mine anger.
It's the Lord talking. The Lord says a fire kindled in his anger. You know what I'm saying? This anger is this fire they talking about that a lot of people want to you know, we're gonna get to that part right here. We about to read it now. The fire is the Lord's anger, if I could.
And shall burn unto the lowest hell.
Into the lowest hell. Here we go. We talking about hell. If I could, sir.
And shall consume the earth.
Consume the what, sir?
Consume the earth.
So the lowest hell is on earth? I thought it was a hell underground. It's in the Bible. You got to read the Bible to know what's really being told to you. That's a lie. You know what I'm saying? In the Old Testament, it lets you know that the lowest hell is on earth. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, you're going to do your worst and your worst of all time. Believe me, you are in hell. That's the hell that's being talked about. That's someplace under the ground. And it can get worse for you in another life when you come back. You see what I'm saying? And we got to do what you got to avoid that now. You ever wonder why you know, you be like, look, why is this happening to me? I ain't done it with, you might have did something in another life. And you can't tell the Lord how to judge. Sometimes he passes a judgment down to your children, which are you. Right. You know what I'm saying? You keep coming back. You coming through the seed of your father. Your children very well be you. You know, not every single one of them. You skip a couple generations and boom, you are your own great grandson. And it was a punishment waiting for you for what you did right then and there. You know what I'm saying? But it says right here that the lowest hell is on earth. You got any more on that, sir?
Mm-hmm. And shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains.
The foundation of the mountains. Now here, we talking about the governments, the mountains, you know, that's being talked about right here is the mountains. You know what I'm saying? This is the Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? Just let that be known. If I could get the book of Ecclesiastes 3 and 16.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment.
Now it says the place of judgment was under the sun. What's under the sun? The earth. The earth is the place of judgment. You know what I'm saying? Now you ask a Christian, where's the place of judgment? They're gonna say in heaven. That imaginary place in the sky. They're gonna say that's where God gonna judge you at. Well, the place of judgment is under the sun. Right here on earth, where the lowest part of hell is. You know what I'm saying? If I could, sir.
Mm-hmm. That wickedness was there.
Now, hold on. In the place of judgment, you mean in the sky where the Christians teach that the Lord is at, you know, they waiting to go through the gate. It's wickedness there.
Right.
That doesn't make sense. Christianity makes things so you know, so baffling. Like that doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make any sense at all. Now, what does make sense is that this place of judgment is the earth. There's wickedness on the earth, if I could.
Mm-hmm. And the place of righteousness.
Like so righteousness and wickedness were here in the place of judgment. You know what I'm saying? Now, right here on the earth, you got both of them, if I could.
Mm-hmm. That iniquity was there.
Iniquity was there. Sin was there. You know what I'm saying? Now, that just lets you know while you're living, you will get judgment right here on earth. You know what I'm saying? You catch a judgment right here while you're living. You don't have to die to get judgment. It's right here. You're doing something wicked. Some of your judgments may come afterwards in another life. You will get judgments here too. Right here while you're living. Don't be asking, oh, Satan, why you doing this? No, that's the Lord giving you judgment.
Right.
Satan works for the Lord. You know what I'm saying? If I could, sir. Is that the end of that?
That's the end of that, Bruce.
Come, sir. If I get the book of Matthew 10 and 28.
Mm-hmm. Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul.
Yeah, see, don't fear our oppressor. Our oppressor always trying to throw you. He may throw you in jail, but he can't do nothing to your spirit unless you let him take you out of your game. You know what I'm saying? But he still can't take your spirit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he can put your body in the cell. He can even unalive you. As he's so gifted at doing, because he's been a murderer from the beginning.
Right.
He's wicked. You know what I'm saying? But he can't do nothing to your soul. If I could, sir.
Mm-hmm. But rather fear.
And slack, if I may. Mm-hmm. And you know how you can see how they hate us in our conditioning. They know that we live a certain type of life, and they can't stand to see us so happy just going down the street. We just loving life anyway. You know what I'm saying? Having fun with the condition that we in. They can't stand it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They want to be able to take your spirit and your soul. Don't give it to them. You know what I'm saying? If I could, sir.
Mm-hmm. But rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell.
Now, last I checked, we talked about what happens when you die, right? It said your body go in the ground. So, and everybody who believes that there's a heaven above and a hell below, know that your body doesn't go there. So the Bible said, fear the one who can take your body and soul in hell. I'll let you know your body doesn't go to hell. So obviously, we're not talking about some place under the ground or when you die. We're talking about some place that your body and your soul are together. You see what I'm saying? The Lord can do that. You know what I mean?
That's right.
We're not talking about no imaginary place under the ground with fire. You know what I'm saying? If I could, sir.
Yep. That's it on that.
Oh, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get the book of Revelation 5 and 10?
Mm-hmm.
And once again, that's saying the same thing that it just did in the Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? The Old Testament just spoke on the place of judgment, you know what I'm saying, Ecclesiastes, you know what I'm saying, and the lowest hell in Deuteronomy, which plainly point out that there's no imaginary place up there or down there. All this is taking place on earth. It said the same thing it's described the same thing in Matthew 10 and 28. And let's hear what Revelation has to say, if I could.
Mm-hmm. Revelation chapter 5, verse 10. And has made us unto our God kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth.
We shall reign on the earth. Don't wait to die. We shall reign on the earth as kings and priests. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying here, we ain't waiting for it. What, right? I'm sitting right beside officer and priest and officer. Kazak Ahmad. You know what I'm saying? I'm priest and officer, Shapat Dayak. I'm not waiting to have all this. We trying to get this now. We want the kingdom here now. Matter of fact, you coming to I.S.U.P.K, you seeing what the kingdom looking like now. This is the kingdom building up. You see what I'm saying? To reign on earth. We free men. We go out in the public in front of everybody and say the white man, woman, and child are the devil that the Bible speaks of. I ain't got to wait for that. I can say it right now. You see what I'm saying? And don't give a damn what they talking about. If I could get the book of Revelation 21 and 10. You know what I'm saying? This whole thing is for us. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got to worry about that. Why the Christians ain't teaching you that? You know what I'm saying? Christians ignoring the Old Testament, but the same thing is going on. Like this whole book. Good, sir.
Revelation chapter 21, verse 10. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God.
Now, right, it didn't say it was in heaven. It said descending. You know what I'm saying? From heaven. You know what I'm saying? And it was from God. You know what I'm saying? Let it be known, like this city right here, you know, God rules this city. You know what I'm saying? Christ's gonna be sitting with an iron rod. This is gonna be in the name of the Lord. You see what I'm saying? That's what that means. You know, it doesn't mean that a city's gonna float out of the sky. No, that just means that this right here, what goes on in this city, how this city is, how it's built, the whole rulership, that's of God. You see what I'm saying? Because when you look at who's ruling, and you're gonna be like, these niggas here, nah. God's stamp is on this, so you'll know that we were the ones in the first place. We were the ones he chose. And this is about the kingdom right here, right? You know what I'm saying? Letting you know that it's not in the sky. It's like it said in the Old Testament.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I could.
That's it on that verse.
Can I get the next verse 17, please?
11.
Shop.
Don't sweat.
20. No, 17. Hold on. My bad. Can I get 12?
12.
I'm looking at the wrong drink.
No sweat, priest. And had a wall great and high.
Great and high wall. Keep people out if I could.
And had 12 gates.
12 gates on it.
And at the gates, 12 angels.
These angels are to protect the gates. It's the kingdom of the Lord. If I could.
And names written thereon.
And the names written on, just like if you go to a house that says the fields, you expect the fields to live there. You know what I'm saying? You know, the Perez, if it says Perez on it, the Perez's are in there. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't expect Johnsons to be in the Perez house. Nah. But you know, they got somewhere for the Johnsons too. You know what I'm saying? And on the gates is what's on the gates, sir, if I could?
Which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
That's right. And if they was reading, they don't even read this and respect this in the church, let alone it was telling you a long time ago in the Old Testament, like when you die, you come back. And hell is right here. Heaven is right here. You see what I'm saying? They said it in the Old Testament. It's in the New Testament. You know what I mean? Like we'll find that these Christians, the Christianity, Catholicism, you know what I'm saying, and Islam, they're keeping us to be a slave by doing that, making us think, oh, well, I'll just be docile and try to get mine and when I die. You know what I'm saying? So meanwhile, while you being docile, they rule and cause a muck and they're doing everything they want to do. They're having their rulership. You see what I'm saying? But the whole time, the kingdom is for you. The kingdom is right here on earth, and it's for you. You know what I'm saying? Well, because they ain't teaching this whole book as a whole, you never get to see the whole picture. You know what I'm saying? If I could get the book of Leviticus 11:1.
Leviticus chapter 11, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on earth.
See, the Lord gave us a dietary plan. You know what I'm saying? Reading in the chapter 11 of Leviticus, from 1 to 30 is everything that you can eat. You know what I'm saying? We didn't go through the whole thing for time. If you could drop to verse 7, if I could. You know what I'm saying?
Verse 7. And the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you.
You can't eat pork. You know what I'm saying? And I know that so much. Christians, a lot of Christians know, and they read this. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people who don't know this. You know how many people I come across, they say, what does the Bible say what you can eat and what you can't eat? Right here in Leviticus 11. You can't eat pork. If I could you drop to verse 9?
Verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters.
Can't eat catfish or tuna. They don't have scales. You can't eat shrimp, crab, and lobster. They don't have fins or scales. You see what I'm saying? What you can eat is you can eat a cow. It's part of the hoof. You ever seen a cow's foot? It's got a little part in it. Boom. He chews the cud. He got 2 stomachs. He chews the grass. Boom, boom. It's like he passes it to another stomach. It's like how they help digest. You know what I'm saying? But these type of animals, a goat. You know what I'm saying? It's plenty of others. You know, so we're not gonna go through all of them for time being, but there are animals that you can eat and you can't eat, and they're right there in Leviticus 11. If I could get the book of Acts 10 and 9, you know what I'm saying? But because the Christians don't go off the Old Testament, they're trying to use scriptures like this to say that you can eat what you want. If I could.
Acts chapter 10, verse 9. On the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour. And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they made ready, he fell into a trance.
Yeah, see, they try to use this right here, this little trance, this dream that the Lord gave Peter. That's an excuse to try to eat anything. You know what I'm saying? Where the whole time he was hungry when he fell into this trance. You know, your dreams give you kind of like real life pictures of what's going on in your life. You know what I'm saying? While you sleeping. If I could, sir.
And he saw heaven opened, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the 4 corners, and let down to the earth, wherein were all manner of 4-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat. But Peter said, Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean.
Yeah, Peter never ate anything common and unclean. Why? Because he used to read the Old Testament. He read Leviticus before. You know, he can't eat those types of things that he saw coming out of the sky, right? I could, sir.
And the voice spake unto him again the 2nd time, What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common.
And see, this is what the Christians are trying to use. They say God cleansed everything now. All these animals, you can eat them now. You know what I'm saying? What verse was that, sir?
That was 15.
That was 15. Can you go to 28, please?
28.
Come on, sir.
Verse 28. And he said unto them, Ye know how that is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come into one of another nation.
Now, see, at this time, you know, the Jews of Jerusalem, you know what I'm saying? Like they were looking at the Jews that had been scattered around in these heathen lands, and they're acting like heathens, which you can call them Gentiles. And in Christianity, they act like a Gentile is only another nation. An Israelite can also be a Gentile. And so right here, Peter is saying it's uncommon for a Jew to be in the presence of somebody that acts like another nation, you know, or somebody from another nation, you know, besides the be. But he's talking, this whole chapter is about Cornelius. He says Cornelius was a just man. How can you be a just man in the Bible if you're not held to it? So the Bible called him a just man. Yeah, that means he was held to it. That means he's one of Israel. You're not held to be a just man if you're a heathen, because you never given no law, statutes, or commandments. Well, you know, so right here, Peter was saying it's not usual for a man, a Jew, a known Jew, a circumcised Jew, to be amongst other Jews who are in scattered lands. If I could, sir.
But God hath showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean.
And see, this is what God showed him. He shouldn't call a man unclean or common. The animals that the Lord was showing him had nothing to do with eating pork, or eating shrimp, crab, or lobster. He gave him a dream, you know, and it was symbolic of the way they looked at the Jews that were scattered, like they were unclean. You see what I'm saying? If I could get the concert. Well, like this, if I could get the book of 1 Corinthians 6 and 9, we're gonna end it off with that one. There's a few more that, you know what I'm saying, we can't get for the time being, where Christians try to use to say that, you know what I'm saying? But you know, these things were already given to us in the Old Testament, in the book of Leviticus and 11. You know what I'm saying? That they would go by the Old Testament. The prophets were, you see what I'm saying? Peter never ate that. You know what I'm saying? Paul never ate that. You know, they were speaking against it. But because they don't go by the Old Testament, we're being led astray. You know what I'm saying? Supposed to be following after what the prophets taught, Christ taught. I could, sir.
1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators nor idolaters.
And where did they say you couldn't be fornicators or idolaters? In the Old Testament. If I could.
Nor adulterers.
Nor adulterers. The law for adulterers is in the Old Testament. But, you know what I'm saying? If I could.
Nor effeminate.
And on that, if I could, Christ, when the woman was an adulterer, and they were saying that she had to be stoned, they were trying to get Christ to speak against the Old Testament. And Christ didn't. He said, well, oh, okay, if that's the case, he didn't tell them not to stone them. That would have been against the Old Testament, you know, the law of Moses. He told them the first man who without sin, you cast a stone. You know what I'm saying? If I could, sir.
Mm-hmm. Nor abusers of themselves with mankind.
LGBTQ is in Leviticus 20 and 13. That's in the Old Testament. If I could.
Nor thieves.
Nor thieves. Thou shalt not steal. The Old Testament. If I could.
Nor covetous.
Nor covetous. All of these things that we about to read in this scripture right here, they were taught in the Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? If we was living with a majority people who taught the Old Testament and the New, majority of us, will we be in the kingdom right now? But we got billions of Christians who don't say we not in the old covenant. We don't go by the Old Testament, where everything you need not to be doing is in the Old Testament. Everything you need to do is in the Old Testament. It says you can't play with little kids in the Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not getting rid of none of that in here. You know what I'm saying? Let it be known, you know what I'm saying, in the I.S.U.P.K, you know what I'm saying, we also use the Old Testament as the new. You got Old Testament Israelites, they're lunching just like the Christians are. You know what I'm saying? What you need to do is come in here and learn the whole of the Bible, the entire, this and the Apocrypha, which would go in the middle of the Old Testament and the New, and learn everything you need to, you know what I'm saying, so you can be righteous and come back in another life and have heaven right here. You know what I'm saying? And with that, I pass the class on to the officer and priest, Kazaka Ahmad. Salam.
Security announcement. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. Excuse me. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. TITHES, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21, and Malachi 3, 8 through 10. Means 10th in Hebrew, and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives, you give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation is the Lord's 56th annual Passover. It's going to be held in Atlanta, Georgia, April 12th. Pay your Passover fee. Pay your Passover fee. $200 per adult, 17 and older. Remind Akim and Agwapi to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, he's to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black handband or scarf. And with that, I say Imajum, which means to stand. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel, Imajum Shabbat, Imajum, Barak, Yahawah Yahya class dismissed.
Welcome to Atlanta. Christ is Officer 5000, Jeremiah, the camp leader of Atlanta. Passover 2025, starting April the 9th, we got the lamb slaughter. April the 10th, we got General Muhammad's class. April the 11th, we got the black party that's going to have the Hebrew graduation. April the 12th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the 56th annual Passover, the only Passover under Commander Junior YAHANNA.
Our great and holy King has honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing the end of it, man. It is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King YAHWH, we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved.
April the 13th, we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Shalom.
I see you get it in.